Let's get back to the checkpoint part, and we'll come back from break and go to your calls, but I've got to finish this video. Let's get to the good part right here. But as I was saying, ladies and gentlemen,
touring groups of performers are used to attract attention. They are particularly effective in remote areas. Entertainment or diversion of any kind is eagerly awaited.
USO. Does this mean Ann-Margaret isn't coming?
Entertainment teams like this one attract crowds of people wherever they appear.
So condescending as they manipulate the locals in this fictitious Eastern European country.
Interaction can result in group belonging and assist in developing a sense of national unity.
Controlled interaction. You don't just let the slaves interact with each other. You taser them if they're not.
A continuing effort is made to link the PSYOP program with progress to help the people help themselves. This makes them see the military and the government as positive images, benevolent symbols, signifying steps toward a better life. The sense of success, the satisfaction of a job finished. These are of major importance. Direct response to community needs is vital. Projects which would be meaningless in terms of local needs should be avoided. For psychological purposes, one finished well is worth far more than an unfinished dam.
Getting back to military psyops, and then I'm going to go to your phone calls and into this story that's gotten national attention. Armed citizen militia shows up at Occupy Wall Street. They've got M16s loaded, standing in front of the cops, and you'd think they're not needed to protect folks in Phoenix, but all over the country, the cops are shotgunning people with rubber bullets for no reason. So what's going to happen if there's a confrontation? In this video at Infowars.com, it shows the cops kind of sheepishly looking at guys with M16s. And a lot of folks are, well, how do they have M16s? That's illegal. No, it's not in America in most states. The Second Amendment's only restricted in a few areas. And technically, they're AR-15s. They were M16s that have to have a federal stamp for them. But that's coming up. Let me give you the number to join us on air on all the issues we've covered. It's 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539 on this Sunday live edition. Let's finish up with the Army PSYOP from 1968 and the parallels to the propaganda today as if we're some third world country the Pentagon has invaded. Because that's how we're treated now. Here it is.
Is openly recruiting and receiving aid from the people.
Back it up a minute.
Security program.
Back it up just about 20 seconds because I want that part where they talk about checkpoints and things. Yeah. Back it up just a little bit. Perfect. Let's go ahead and go to it now. Here it is.
And they are told how it will benefit them. In areas where the insurgent is openly recruiting and receiving aid from the people, an internal security program takes the greatest PSYOP effort.
Ah, PSYOP, checkpoint. It's a checkpoint. The cars are being stopped like in Tennessee or Texas on the highway, warrantless checkpoint.
The objectives are to sever the link between the insurgent and the civilian population, to detect and neutralize subversive apparatus, and to provide a secure environment.
Oh, secure for your safety. TSA is going to grow up your 1-year-old daughter. Actually, to train you to be a slave.
An internal security program encompasses roadblocks, curfews, critical supplies such as medicine, money, food, explosives, arms, etc., all of which make the PSYOP effort a little more difficult.
Which they look for at TSA checkpoints on the road now. Totally illegal.
Where restrictions are imposed, the people should be made to realize the necessity for them.
Oh.
They must be convinced that these restrictions are only temporary.
Like we were told back on 9/11?
That
pause.
Soon as subversive...
Back it up 10 seconds. Jaron had an idea Friday, and he actually pulled up the USA Today article, gave it to the Nightly News guys. We never covered it. But Jaron, make me tomorrow re-pull that. I want to show it on screen because the way it printed was in 4 pieces. He found the USA Today where they federalized air screening, and it said they would just be checking bags. Now that means checking another type of bag that has huevos in it and grabbing on your wife's breast. I mean, this is our journey into slavery. And now they're on the highways squeezing your luggage. Let's go ahead and go back to it.
For them, they must be convinced that these restrictions are only temporary. That as soon as subversive activities are controlled, restrictions will be lifted. Many problems are encountered during the implementation of this type of program.
People don't like being slaves in Nazi Germany. They'll complain. It's okay. Tell them it'll be over soon. Of course, it never will be. We're just going to ratchet it up. But the Americans will never figure it out.
Vegetables damaged while held up in roadblocks must be investigated immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Curfews can alienate shopkeepers and theater and restaurant owners unless implementation of such measures is planned and announced well in advance.
They even have a curfews for adults all over the country now.
Curfews may also alienate the younger people who use the evening for youth activities.
Or youth activities. Get out of here, you evil children.
Controls restrict the flow of essential products and goods.
Yeah, now they search your mail. Did you know that?
Psychologically, the people must be convinced that if it were not for the insurgents, these restrictions would not be necessary, and that when insurgent activities cease, restrictions will be removed.
The insurgents you manufacture in your full-spectrum dominance.
In areas of the country where government troops are battling the subversives, the psychological effort is of a different nature.
All right, I got a time code here. We skip ahead now to the end.
In addition to
because there's a point at the end of the video where they cut to Joe Sixpack and they go, you've got to reach him. You've got to convince him you're on the right side. It's key to be friendly and have good esprit de corps. Well, now you see Congress has a 9% approval rating. The globalists know you hate them and are awake, at least to some extent. So now they've shifted, and police have admitted this, to the black uniform as black mask for pure intimidation. Now they don't want you to think that they're there to help you. They don't want you to think that they care about you in many of the federal operations. It's all about pure and total domination. And that's now the system we've shifted to. B, if they put it through, still fight it. And C, use the internet today like it won't be there tomorrow.
I agree.
I mean, look, they're all going to jail like Ken Lay and Bernie Madoff. They've all committed crimes much bigger than that. Look at the crimes that are admitted. Army field manuals about staging terror attacks. The Justice Department shipping guns out of the country and lying about it. Government stealing military pension funds for 12 years. I mean, this is a criminal government. And the alternative media is becoming the mainstream media, and they can't deal with it. They can't deal with it. So the fight is on. We're in a toe-to-toe. You ever seen a boxing match or even a UFC fight where they stop using tactics and they just man-to-man start pounding who can take the most punishment? That's what we're now in, a fight like that right now.
I had listened to AM radio here in Calgary, and they're claiming that there's $40,000 worth of damage to the grass at Canada Olympic Park.
They whine and complain endlessly about Occupy Wall Street and act like it's bad.
I checked it out, and they're peaceful. They're some of them are hippies, but you know they treated the land with respect, and it definitely wasn't 40 grand worth of damage. That's for sure.
Jason, I appreciate your call. Look, this is what's going on. The whole thing is a cutout. The Democratic Party on record calls for Occupy Wall Street to form. Well-meaning people, not knowing who's behind it, show up. And then they use it as a projection to demonize demonstrating and now have the cops sicked on them nationwide, shotgunning them with rubber bullets at point-blank range, putting some in comas. It's a set piece. It's not that they're bad. It's that the whole thing is to preempt real demonstrations that are coming. David in Ukraine, and then John in South Carolina. David, welcome from Ukraine.
Hi there, Alex. Nice to be on the show. Thanks a lot.
Good to have you.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the video contest that you do. In February, I made about 5 videos for your V for Victory contest, and since then, they've gotten about 100,000 hits. So, it's obvious that this is a great way to, spend a little money and get a lot of bang for the buck.
By the way, I'm going to announce the new contest next week, the one for Alex Jones predictions. I'm going to announce that next week. I've been so busy with the nightly news and everything, I haven't announced the winners yet because I'm kind of like a kid at a buffet. We used to go to Luby's when I was a child in Dallas, and my dad would say, okay, you can have what you want, but you're not going to eat it. And he would actually let me get whatever I wanted and then basically eat what I didn't eat. I guess, as a joke to kind of educate me. But yeah, that's what we've done here.
Yeah, I would have jumped in on that contest, except the dates were just not clear enough, and I've got commitments that I have to finish out. And it normally takes me a good 2, 3, 4 weeks to get something decent going. And that's one of the reasons that I'm calling in is because about 3 months ago, I discovered a site of your good buddy, Max Kaiser. Have you seen the site Pirate My Film?
Yeah, he's plugged in a bunch on my show. It's like you promote what he's doing and pledge to it, then he'll make the film. But he got the funding for Alex in Wonderland. And I want to see that film made. I mean, he got the pledges for it, but then he never took the pledges. He just went on to something else.
Yeah. Actually, it's crowdsourced funding. So what actually goes on there is that people that have an idea about the films, they go up there, they enter in a project, give a synopsis of what they're going to do, and the crowd gets in there and finances it. I've got a film on there now, 60 Minutes of Banker Hell. And, it's the 2 projects that I've had on there have raised about $4,000, and I'm hoping that, I can get some... Well,
sir, I'll say it again. Listen, I'm some stumbling, bumbling Texas hillbilly, and I'm kicking New World Order hind end all day long. So it's beautiful that you're unleashing your acumen, your gravitas, your creativity, like lightning on the New World Order. Keep it up. You're beautiful. We love you. Dwarf what I've done. Yes, send me your info. I'd love to work with you. Let's talk to John in South Carolina. John, you're on the air.
How you doing, Alex?
I am doing good.
Good to talk to you. The PSYOP video you were showing earlier where the troops would go into foreign countries, that's what they're doing here now, and the slaves believe every word of it. No,
I've got literally every week 4 or 5 local news articles in the middle of the country where Marines, Army are searching families' cars. I mean, they're really getting ready for martial law because the bankers stole the country blind. The minute they got rid of Glass-Steagall in 1999, they set all this up. This is all planned. They're going to send EU tax collectors into EU countries now to raise the money to pay for the derivatives, to physically grab people by their ankles and shake the change out of their pockets. I mean, this is tyranny.
And my mom, actually, she has a Ron Paul bumper sticker, and she was pulled over on the interstate in Georgia a few weeks ago. The first thing the cop asked her is, have you ever been arrested before? Basically, she's guilty until proven innocent.
No, we have the manuals. They say a Ron Paul sticker is evidence of terrorism because they're the criminals. The criminal bankers that took America over run the training of the police and military, and it's so creepy. I mean, when you read these things, you think it's a joke. I mean, I have video in my film Road to Tyranny. It's free online, where Kansas City police are taught that George Washington is bad. And FEMA says, gets up there. I've played the clip and says, George Washington is not good. He is bad. Tell me why. And the cops are like, George Washington is bad because of this. And they say, good job. I mean, it's like the Soviets took over. It's like Red Dawn. And they're like, Thomas Jefferson, even worse. And the police are like, yes, sir, we understand. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, bad. And the FEMA guy's like, good men. We're going to get these Americans. They're like, get them. I mean, it's like, it's total craziness. It's like they think they're the patriots and George Washington is the enemy. We'll be right back.